RTD Live Talk, Detroit's late night YouTube talk show. Excited to be back for another live stream. Want to check in and share with you some interesting developments out of the Senate on a more strategic approach towards divvying out that next round of stimulus, which pretty much seems to be baked into the cake as of now. And so wanted to share that article as well as get your thoughts on some articles done earlier today, and then find out what else is happening out there worthy of being addressed in this news or live stream tonight. So that being the case, welcome. My name is Mike, the host of RTD Live Talk. I want to check in and see, as always, if we have any new viewers, definitely let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to welcome you to the community and find out what's happening in your world. So let me see. We got Brando Commando. Says, I never get notified. Brando, you're not the only one, my friend. Even though if you subscribe and click the bell notification, it's still 50-50 as to whether or not you might get notified in time or not. More than likely, more than enough people, even myself, sometimes I get notified after the live stream ends. So not surprised at all, but I'll try to be more frequent and more precise with my timing during the weekdays as best I can. And we got O'Dane for real. Says, where you at, Mike? Stimulus, more stimulus, more money. What else we got here? Barlight Broker, how you doing, my friend from Illinois? We got JB, we got Aaron, got James, Pabar, Mike Scott. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, Mike Scott from Corpus Christi. Go Flow says, what's happening after the Trump speech on the fourth stimulus checks? Definitely coming soon. Yeah, and so they're coming soon, as to be expected. And it's one of those things where you got the left and the right, you got the House and the Senate, the president, you got everybody out there talking, trying to play hardball, as well as preaching that narrative of everything is fine, we're on a recovery and all that stuff like that. And, of course, there's no recovery in sight, given the dynamics of how this implosion is happening from the bottom up or top down or whatever you want to call it. But the small businesses are the ones that are the most impacted, and they're the employers of our country. And so from this article here, I want to share with you, I had a chance to thumb through it, and it looks like they're throwing out, or Mitch McConnell threw out that figure of 40K as a cap for those that will be eligible. But yet, once again, one of his representatives said that's not, set in stone just as of now. I think it's more so just to get the attention of the public, to throw out some seeds, to sow a little seeds as to what's coming, so people can just begin talking about it now. And so it gives the House a chance also to come out with their rebuttal towards what's appropriate to stimulate those that are unemployed. So that, again, we got Chewy 13 from Chicago. How you doing, my friend? Yagi 1. What else we got here? We got Brian from Silicon Valley. How you doing, my friend? Angie. All right, so let me I'm gonna pull this article up on the screen here, and then along the way, we'll love to hear what else is happening out there in the news that I may not have touched on earlier, and we can definitely talk about a little bit. So I'm gonna just thumb through this article here, give you guys something to chew on real quick, and share my 2 cents on it, as well as feel free to chime in yourself. So this was put out today. Says second stimulus check income eligibility may be capped at 40,000. And so I have been watching Mitch McConnell for quite some time now, basically share his thoughts on what he believes would be appropriate. He recognizes that due to the nature of the economy, there's a lot of people out there hurting, but yet his whole policy or his whole mind frame is that due to the immediate response of the first stimulus, as well as the overcompensation for the unemployment, he will not sign off on anything that incentivizes people not to work. So based upon this article here, what they're trying to say is that a good portion of the unemployed happen to be in jobs that have not come back yet or will not be coming back. And I think it's about, 80 million Americans, if I'm not mistaken, fall within that category, of which I think 16% will be considered unemployed that fall in that category of making less than 40K in a year. And so that's where he wants to target the funds initially, and possibly have the caps based upon if you make a little bit more than that, you'll receive less stimulus. And so once again, no actual number as to what that stimulus might be, other than just mentioning that there will be a cap on it. So What else is it? It says Dexter Dave says, "Hey Mike, how come you and Paul aren't doing the Silver Doctors dealio anymore?" It was a change of plans on behalf of Silver Doctors, where it's not something that they're looking to do right now. So, but yet I see Paul still doing his thing over there, making videos. So, but yet they wanted to go in a different direction as far as the type of content they're creating, as well as YouTube basically blackballing them as well, to where it wasn't to their advantage to continue that anymore. And so I'm going to thumb through this real quick. And then that's pretty much all I have article wise. And I'm opening up the phone lines and we'll chat a little bit. And so let me see here. I'll put out some things here that caught my attention. Let me see if I didn't highlight anything. Okay, so it says McConnell's use of the 40K shouldn't be taken lightly. It says McConnell's comments about how individuals earning less than 40K a year have been hit the hardest shouldn't be overlooked. Quote, multiple sources say McConnell didn't just throw out a 40,000 as a cutoff haphazardly, conscientiously within the GOP is moving that direction. Consensus rather within GOP is moving that direction, which would sharply limit eligibility. And so it said the 40,000 figure is also in line with McConnell's stated goal of making the next round of stimulus more targeted. So they actually want to target those people who actually right now that are a good portion of the people that are unemployed that's making more funds right now than they probably were when they were making. So I think the true pain will come into effect after this month when they remove that extra $600 and decide to throw out whatever stimulus this might be. I think it's going to be incentivized with some back to work type of pay or all types of things I've heard thrown out there. So it says the earnings under 40K were hit the hardest by this current pandemic. Close to 40% of Americans earning less than 40,000 annually lost their jobs in March. So it goes on to talk about that current $1 trillion bill I talked about earlier. All right. Look like I lost myself for a quick second. Let me get myself back up here. All right. Hit the wrong button. Forgive me for that. So anyway, what do you guys think about this? What are you anticipating will be thrown out there after this two-week hiatus? Congress taking time off for whatever the Independence holiday, whatever I heard about. What do you guys think? Is this something that will stick, or are they just playing the cat and mouse game, knowing that if there is a contraction of the economy, which it looks like there will be even more so as the South shuts down, and even here in the state of Michigan, Governor Whitmer was talking about today how they may not be opening things up in the next phase as opposed to having to go backwards. So I think all these figures they're throwing out there are just things to entertain the public, because a lot of people are concerned with receiving some type of aid or help, especially as we draw close to the end of this month when the unemployment extra benefits will be discontinued. And so what will be the next round of unemployment help, we're going to see. But I anticipate some type of stimulus check, another $1,200 or something like that everybody would probably receive, and all that stuff until we head into the fall. And then once summer's over with, they'll be addressing another round of stimulus of some kind. But anyway, enough of me ranting. Let me check in via chat. Let me open the phone lines up and hear from you guys. What do you think? Or whatever else is on your mind, feel free to let me know. So I'll check in. It says, really enjoy the discussions. Okay, just saying. Yeah, I enjoyed them as well. They were definitely good because Mr. Half Dollar brought a different side of the table to the equation. It says, Kenny Haywood says, my dealer still has gold silver for $24. How can one be so lucky? And so what Kenan, I'm curious, what type of silver is it? Is it the Eagles or just generic rounds or what? King D says, how can they put a cap on it? What if you made over 40K last year but now have no job? King D, that's going to be another that's a great topic within the discussion they're going to be having, because outside Mitch McConnell throwing out that 40K figure, that's just him playing hardball to counter the HEROES Act that was thrown out there by the House, because the House wanted to basically extend that $600 as well as, offer all other types of incentives or whatever that would, basically keep people from who have the choice of going back to work from actually going to work. And so I think that's all in that left-right paradigm of trying to play hardball while they all know, everyone really knows that there's going to be more stimulus or more of an allowance given, especially as we get further to the end of this year and probably heading into the next year itself, when that universal basic allowance is ready to be rolled out on top of that new digital payment system that they're going to be introducing as well. So, but I think they're going to start off with that 40K, but the House would not go for that. So it's just Mitch McConnell throwing out some numbers right now. It says they need to pay me big time so I can get out of debt and buy property overseas. They're going to have to act fast, as most will stay unemployed. I see UBI by Christmas. Ooh, UBI by Christmas. Let me see. At this point, who knows? We could definitely see something like that. But I'd imagine they're not going to look to throw out that UBA, Universal Basic Allowance, until it's a part of that new payment system. I don't think they want to get caught up in having to send checks and stuff like that, all the stuff they complained about, because a good portion of the population is still unbanked. So they want to make sure everybody's in the system first, which they might need some more time for that. But hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Lost you. Give me a call. Get you back on here. 24 for the Eagle. Not bad. Yeah, so right now, $24 from what I've gathered, even what I've paid, happens to be the going rate to get your hands on a silver eagle for now. And so that's the official price, regardless of the spot price. When you're getting that government or that official government money, i.e. coinage, you got to pay a little something for that, but it's worth it, in my opinion. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, this is O'Dane for real, calling from Kansas City, Missouri.
How you doing, my friend? What's in your mind tonight?
Hey, good, Mike. Hey, Mike, I just want to touch on that stimulus packet. Mike,
yes,
that's BS, Mike, because you got all these folks, why do you need $1 trillion? If you're only going to have it at a cap at 40 grand,
right?
So you're going to get the corporations the rest of the money.
Right. So I imagine they're gonna break it up into sections like they did last time. $300 billion to the unemployment / states or whatever, the PPP program. So all that right there, that $1 trillion is more than likely for the extension of the PPP program, because I think they're working with less than $200 billion right now. So come fall, they're gonna need a new $300-400 billion. So that $1 trillion is predominantly for the corporations and small businesses, supposedly. So that's who it's really for, disguised as stimulus for the unemployed.
Yeah, it really ain't nothing for the people, it's just for the big corporations, basically.
Right, I agree, man.
That's how I see it. And, they're going to have to do that UBI, though, because, I don't know if you saw Dunkin' Donuts, they closed in like 450 stores at the end of 2020.
I'm not aware of that exactly, but hell, who's staying open these days is the question, because It seems like every retail store, fast food, is having some issues and filing for bankruptcy, and so everybody trying to clear their books because they heavily indebted. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because right now I work in security, and there's a lot of security gigs, but they ain't paying you nothing out here, Mike.
Yeah.
It's like $12. I'm like, what can you do with that? You can't even buy food and, pay your bills, all that crap. So I'm like, that's crazy, though. All right, Mike, but that's all I got. So
all right, my man.
Night, man.
I appreciate you. Thanks for calling. Yep.
Bye.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that call. Give me a call. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what's going on. What are your thoughts on this matter? And of course, just throwing out. And so within that same article I was mentioning, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, was saying that he wants to definitely keep this next round of relief between definitely less than 2 and 3 trillion. And so he wants to keep it as low as possible. And of course, the reason why they're saying that out publicly is that the national debt is too high. We got to concern ourselves with the future generations. And so when you start caring, I'd imagine they realize that they want to keep it minimum because they're going to be doing it for quite some time. You can't keep throwing out large figures like 2, 3, 4 trillion relief and still trying to give people peanuts, because it becomes obvious after a while that you're not really concerning yourself with the unemployed or the underemployed. It's more so about, Main Street. corporations primarily. But yet, we're all hip to the hoax. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, my name is Aaron. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Aaron from Tennessee.
I want you to get,
yep, go ahead, man.
I want you to get Dr. Jim Willie back on again.
I will definitely reach out to him, man. Jim is, as you know, is an interesting character, and Jim tends to, draw stories out extra long. Jim throw in his entire life story, man.
Yeah.
But what do you? But you? I take it you're a big Jim Willie fan.
Oh man, and you are too. I can tell.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's great to connect with him. It's just that time when he gets off track, and like with the last interview was like 20 minutes was talking about some other stuff, which, So, but yeah, he's a character, man. I enjoy him as well.
Yeah, I keep stacking that AG up.
Hey man, do what you got to do, man. Get your weight up. You know what time it is.
That's right.
All right, my man. Appreciate you calling.
All right.
Yeah, be good. Jim Willie. Yeah, man. Jim Willie is he's that's that guy. Catherine from Palm Desert here reporting for duty. How you doing? Get Jim Rogers. Oh, Jim Rogers. Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't talked to him in a minute. That's definitely somebody I should reach out to. And so here's okay. So let me ask you guys a question. This is where I kind of get into that. All right, I'm gonna hold that thought. Remind me to come back to that. Because it's hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Charles out of Atlanta.
Charles out of Atlanta. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
I was calling. You could look up the mayor of Atlanta. She's actually COVID-19 positive.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm not sure if she.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she became positive the day she announced she was putting troops in Atlanta or the day after. Either way it goes, it gives her a 2-week break away from what's really going on in Atlanta. And she can cover up because she can't leave the house.
Now, she can't leave the house. Let me see here. So I got a couple things popped up here. Let me pull this up on the screen real quick. So it looks like the fire chief quarantine. So here's an article. It says Atlanta fire chief quarantines following mayor's COVID-19 diagnosis. Atlanta mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms test positive for coronavirus has literally hit home. So yeah. So she's probably has literally hit home. So she's had no symptoms. So she'll be at home, but she still can call shots from home though. So yeah. So I don't know how that'll really impact her her being able to do her job. Unless, she got to take a leave of absence, or I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think she realized she's in a failed city, in a failed state, and she's trying to any option she can to get out of it. And also, too, if you look up AJC's only news system that I've seen that reported, a young man cured of HIV earlier this week, I believe it was. So we're in such a state right now, they have to start curing diseases.
Okay, now we broke up for a minute. It says something about HIV. What's that?
AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, is the only paper that I saw online that reported that they cured a young man of HIV by accident earlier this week.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me look that up. Cured HIV. Let me see what pops up there. Doctors say experimental treatment may have rid man. Okay, so here's an article here. So that was one of the things I mentioned a while back. Viruses, this HIV has been around 30 plus years, and all of a sudden there's a cure for it out of the blue. And I'd imagine the same cure, if it is a cure, is something definitely that could be used for what we're experiencing now. So, but yet I don't think that's a part of the globalist agenda to have a cure right now, because they want to, test, track, and tag everybody. So it says, doctor says experimental treatment may have rid man of HIV, a Brazilian manufactured AIDS virus. So, so definitely this is promising news if this is something that has impacted your life. But yet, do you think they'll be willing to try the same experimentation on those that have COVID-19 as a possible cure as well, or we won't hear nothing about that?
I think it's a way to get people who are sensitive, maybe HIV positive or whatever. Remember, that's a huge demographic, especially millennials, to get them to take actual cure / vaccine or whatever, be in the same shot.
Okay, man. See, that's an interesting perspective there. So definitely, my thing is at this point, anything is possible. So I would never discount that thought, man. So, hey, I appreciate you for bringing this to our attention, because I was not aware of all this information here. So thank you.
Not only that, but think about Africa, the entire continent of Africa. Most of them are HIV positive. Think about Brazil.
So yeah, so that plays definitely into the Gates Foundation and how, I wouldn't. There's no doubt in my mind that this is an actual treatment that can help HIV patients. That they've been sitting on this for a long time now, and this so happens to be mainstream story, or not necessarily mainstream, but coming out there, packaged in as a vaccine that will be sent to Africa. Because I'm assuming the best way to get Africa nations to accept a vaccine would be to say, hey, it can also cure this particular one that you guys have been struggling with. And of course, it's ravaged that dang continent. So I bet you imagine a lot of people will be willing to take that. So, man, this is it's one of the things where this is supposed to be exciting news, I think, but I don't really feel that right now. I think this is even more of a part of a setup.
I tell our friends this and family, like, what a time to be alive. I mean, because we're going to see more. If you're able to live the next 10 years, like you talked about earlier, we'll see more in these next 10 years that most people have not seen in 100 years of living, or history for that matter.
Whew, yeah, that's very true, man. And I imagine along that 10-year, this next decade is going to be that transition year that we will all, if you can make it all the way through it, you're going to have some hella stories on the other side of this, man. But my personal belief is that there will be a lot of lives lost in this next decade, either by force or by or by any other method. So, man. Whew, all right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling. Let me get a couple more people here. Thanks for chiming in and sharing this information, my friend.
Oh, no problem. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, bye.
So, man, this is definitely some interesting news, man. I appreciate the heads up as to what's happening. So once again, unless you're actually in that region or pay attention, you never would have known that the Atlanta mayor has tested positive and therefore will be out of the loop for that self-quarantine, and as well as the fire chief. And so, yeah. Now, what does that mean for Atlanta? This upcoming week could be really, really, really chaotic down there, because they can really lose control of everything and blame it on this and say that, whatever they try to use as an excuse. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Mike? This is Matt from New Jersey. How's it going, man?
Matt, how you doing, my man? I'm doing good. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. I just wanted to share an observation I'm seeing.
Okay.
When it comes to real estate,
Okay.
I just think you would find this interesting, and your chaplain would find this interesting.
Okay.
So I'm about 45 minutes west of New York City in New Jersey.
Okay.
And, ever since this health crisis started to happen, my wife and I, we've been going out for walks, and we've been walking around the same, pretty much the same, like 5-block radius. Like, we do like four laps around, like we try to do 4 laps around every day.
Yeah.
And Mike, in the past month, what I'm noticing, there's been I would say 3 or 4 houses that went up for sale. They were sold. All of them were sold within a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Really?
So I'm led to believe that there might be a migration or exodus out of the big cities like New York City because of not only the health crisis, but the protests and everything that's going on in New York City, which was the epicenter for the health crisis.
Yeah.
So some people are saying, oh, real estate prices might come down. If you live near a big city, that might not necessarily be true, because you're going to see a mass exodus of people getting out of that big city to go live in the suburbs. And another thing I'm noticing, if your employer allows you to work from home, and if this is a permanent thing, this work from home arrangement, where all you need is a laptop and a VPN token to log into your company network. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you live if you don't have to go into the office. Like, you could live anywhere as long as you have an internet connection and a way to get into your company's network. You can live anywhere you want. Yeah. So I just wanted to share with you what I'm seeing, that like these houses around my block, they're going up for sale, and within 2 weeks they are sold. I see for sale signs, and in less than 2 weeks they're under contract.
Yeah. So yeah, I've actually seen articles, and I'm trying to find one now, where they're talking about the mass exodus from New York in of itself, and outside of a lot of people who are high net worth individuals, they're looking to get out of the country. And so those that are in the cities themselves are looking to get anywhere they can. So I wouldn't doubt that those houses are being, snatched up quickly. So I will definitely try to find an article and share it with you. But I appreciate you for chiming in and keep me in the loop on what else you see out there as time unfolds, because I think this is just the beginning, because a lot of metropolitan areas will be hollowed out pretty soon because of the cost as well as the lack of ability to move around if we go into another full-fledged lockdown. So people want to be out of the main cities. So yeah, man, appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, and in New Jersey, they're thinking about making wearing a mask a permanent thing, both indoor and outdoor in public places. That's where the governor is thinking about doing now.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So I think even my governor here, I saw today in her press conference, she was calling for national, the national, some national whatever mandate of all people, of everybody to wear masks. So it looks like that's the narrative they're going to try to push to slow the curve down. Or I don't, they don't even mention a curve anymore, but they talk about to slow things down so we don't go backwards now. So I don't know that that's all a part of the agenda to continue to promote fear as well as panic out there to keep us, lock in step with their agenda. So, but hey, man, appreciate you calling.
Yeah, and I hope your listeners, whoever's saving money on taking a train to work, they get their weight up with that commuter cost saving. Yeah. I definitely got my weight up.
Definitely, my man. Appreciate you for calling and sharing that. Be good.
Have a good night, Mike. Thank you, man.
Good stuff, man. So here's the article here I just found about NYC real estate experts. Renters want to leave, and they're blaming the current situation. But I would imagine outside of the last 120 days of everybody being introduced to the concept of, national emergencies and being locked in and told what to do and stuff like that. And you really realize how free or lack thereof of freedom you have, especially if you stay in New York City where everything is jam-packed. You can't go nowhere. You don't have any land to really, stretch yourself out or walk around. That's one of the benefits of not being actually in cities like that is having a front yard, backyard, or whatever. You got some property, you can walk on it. And you never take that for granted. That's for sure. And so, Mr. Call, give me a call back. We'll get you on here. And let me check in with the chat. Missed a couple of thoughts out here. Let me see. All right, what we got? Okay, a lot of good thoughts out there. Get back with you in a second. And the one thought I was going to get back to, I got to remember what it was. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure, Public 50. How you doing?
Doing good, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I just wanted to talk about this. I want to say two things. Let me tell you about this mask thing. Okay. Look, man, if I don't want to wear a mask and they arrest me, is the police officer going to put a mask on me when he puts me in the car or in jail? Like, if I take it off in jail, they're going to, give me a longer sentence?
There's all great points there. I don't think if it comes to being arrested, they're going to really concern themselves with making sure you're protected with the mask, because more than likely they may not have a mask on, because I don't think they would want to have to tussle with a person who doesn't have a mask as well as themselves. So
what if I say I can't breathe when they put the mask on me? Then what's going to happen?
They're going to lump you up more and put you on a ventilator, man.
But check this out. I'm on this road. They're about to give me the lethal injection. Why do they clean the little when they put the injection, they clean it with alcohol? Are they going to put a mask on that guy too before they kill him?
Hey, man. Only you would come up with questions like that, man.
Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Something else that happened to me that's real funny, man. Okay, I went to a wedding this last weekend, 4th of July,
Mm-hmm.
And my kids had, I'll try to make it quick. My kids had like that sunblock, but it was a kid's one. It was real thick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then I put it on my face, and I tell everybody, look, white face, white lives matter, I'm doing white face. Dude, everybody was rolling, right? I gotta think. I'm starting white face now, Mike. I want to be a reverse racist,
All right, man. Only you, man. Hey, man, good hearing from you, man.
All right, Mike. Have a good night.
Yeah, be good.
All right.
Oh man, this dude, interesting. Let me see. Okay, so let me get back to the chat, man. I missed a couple thoughts out there, as well as how highlight at rethinking the dollar sort of stand out, and I can definitely see it and get to it. So Spec Streaming says, I work at the hospital. They show pictures of nurses telling people to protect our face by wearing a mask. Interesting. So another thing is, we're being told that the South is being bombarded. Hospital ICUs are overcrowded. They're throwing out all types of stats. The unfortunate part is, I don't really, I've been around long enough to really not believe anything I'm told directly, question everything. And so I'm curious to find out from people that might be in those areas that's experiencing a larger number of cases, anybody in the medical field that can give us a different perspective. Call in or let me know. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Anybody there? Going once? Going twice? All right. Give me a call back. I will get you on here. So I saw something about empty commercial real estate. I'm going to Airbnb my barn was Wi-Fi. Retail is dead in big cities, no jobs. I just bought out my Momentum Meadows. All right, bought them out. The Great Reset will be the theme of a unique twin summit to be conveyed by the World Economic Forum in January 21. Yeah, so Indigenous Copper. And on top of that, they're having a virtual. So I think everybody, they're like opening up to the public. And so that's very bold on their part, referring to the World Economic Forum. They're having a virtual conference where they're encouraging millennials and the younger generation to join them as to be a part of the discussion. So they want to incorporate and include you into what they plan on doing to us. We received a text on the 4th to wear a mask. Really? Okay, let me see here. Mortgages still charged twice, but they argue about mask. Yeah, so this month of July, I came across an article talking about the amount of mortgages and forbearance that will eventually turn into foreclosures are expected to rise this month. And so there's going to be it's going to be like August heading to September. We got the whole situation for schooling. We'll find out what they throw out there for schools. They had a little President Trump meeting today talking about how to get back to school and stuff like that for the kids. We got universities doing online, still charging full ticket. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Kevin Millinger.
Kevin.
Michael from Shooter, Maryland. Yeah, it's been a little while. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, you touched a chord in me because you went down a road, but you kind of detour a little bit. You mentioned the real estate, New York, and the hyenas out of the city, right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking real estate, let me slow down and take a deep breath, first of all. Okay. If we're talking real estate, we're talking commercial versus residential.
Yeah.
Well, in the city, you got both. You got the large, because I work downtown myself, Manhattan, African America. So you got the large office buildings, and next door to them, you got the large apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So my point is, I guess, is if they're going to continue down this road with the mask and the shutdown and the reset, well, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn. People are making that adjustment and starting to bring in income from home. They ain't going back to the office building, Mike.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for who's going to pay for that real estate in Manhattan? Those 20-foot story buildings with nobody working inside, Mike, it's going to crumble. Mike, it's got to.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't have it both ways, Mike. You can't have it both ways. And then next door, if they got to sustain the people in the city. If they're going to stay there, you know how much it costs to live in New York City, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Because in a minute, this thing is going to accelerate, and we're going to go, oh, shit.
Yeah, and so, man, like, so, and that's the thing where I can't even fathom what it would look like in New York, even though I've watched a couple of, what's his name? Reggie Middleton's videos, because he's done some walks we've done some walks through different business districts in New York and seeing just everything boarded up all the way down the street, stores closed, and he zoom up and see empty for sale buildings, for rent, for lease, and I'm like, damn,
that's
like
boots on the ground. Yeah, that's boots on the ground. You got ready, Mike.
Yeah, that's
definitely that's what's going down. That's what's going down.
Yeah,
and it ain't going back the other way. I mean, the Fed can kick out another $35 trillion. All right.
Yeah.
The monopoly game, the jig is up. The jig is up, guys. Everybody know from here to Timbuktu right now that it's going to run its course. It's time to get some silver, some gold, listen to me, folks, some stable coins. Now, I want to ask you one thing. I'm going to let you run with this, Mike.
Okay.
I hear a lot. Well, first of all, I'm going to quote Forbes. I love this quote.
Okay.
This is July, folks. This is July 2019.
Mm-hmm.
They do a review. They come out and they say, here's our top 10 blockchain companies going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our top 10. I just want to focus on one of them because I've done a little research and I'm affiliated with them. Number 7 on their list is a company out of Stuttgart, Germany called Cariboss International.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a plug. Mike, this is not a plug.
I understand.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I understand.
Not a plug. Okay? What I'm talking is this guy, Dr. Howard Sykes, this genius,
mm-hmm.
has actually linked a crypto coin, our crypto, to 1/10 of a gram of physical gold bullion.
Mm-hmm.
That's called stable. The other stuff that China and Russia and them are putting out is still linked. It's still another form of fiat in a digital form.
Yeah.
Mike, think about it.
Yeah.
And talk to me, bro. I'm gonna let you have the floor. I'm done, folks.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Good talking to
Thank
you, man. I'll definitely share my thoughts on that. Be good. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So yeah, man. So I appreciate you, Kevin, for calling, man. It's good to hear some a fresh perspective from like actually on the ground there in New York and how bad things are basically set up to become even more so. And so definitely, get your weight up. You know what to do on that front there. That's just, basically, national currency insurance. Basically what you're trying to do, protect yourself. And then on top of that, as people mentioned before, anything that holds value that you own outright, will do you good. And so as far as the stable coins, definitely, the blockchain side of things, I am interested in a lot of projects out there. As far as Carrot Bars, I'm anticipating finding out more about that stable coin they're referring to, because what he's referring to is a blockchain-based platform that will be redeemable in a stable coin that will be pegged to cash gold, which is actually the instrument right here, which is 1/10 of a gram of gold. So I am an affiliate as well. So I am, familiar with what's going on with that. But it's one of those things where I personally prefer to have the physical over the digital. So I'm not going to jump out of my seat just yet. I'm going to wait to hear more about it. But, whenever I get a chance, I make sure I get a hold of what's mine in the form of physical. So, and then on top of that, moving ahead, as I mentioned, I think it was last night, give or take, or today, I'm not sure. But everything now, project-wise, is still new. There's still a lot of, excitement around them. Give it 3 or 4 years once the CBDCs are rolled out and restrictions and regulations that come into play. All other projects, if they're not useful or regulated, they're going to be out the door. And that's one of my concerns with getting too excited about a lot of these projects that are still in the early phase. So, but we'll keep it moving. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this baby money bag. Lane, Texas. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. How you doing? What's in your mind tonight?
Now, everybody talking about they gonna have gold, they gonna have silver. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna have,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all can listen up and come to me personally. But it's some other things that y'all can barter with. See, I'm gonna have all the Newport shorts, cigarettes. I'm gonna have long, short. I'm gonna have Marlboro 100. I'm telling you, the liquor, the Hennessy, Taco Vodka. Holla at your boy. I'm going to have it all, because when y'all going to try to hit the streets and people going to be fiending and geeking, and he going to want some food, but he going to want something to smoke after that too.
Yeah, that's true. So that's a commodity that has served its purpose throughout time, where everybody know about how those things retain a value. So I'm not a smoker, so I don't know if I'll be really running to get a cigarette like that, but You never know if things get bad enough. I might need something.
You might not smoke, but you're going to be like, hey, man, this dude got this barbecue pit I'm trying to smoke, but he wants cigarettes, and I know you got it. I'll be like, I thought you didn't know.
Oh, man. Good points, man.
All right, man. I'm just jiving with you, man. I'm going to let you go, though.
I appreciate you calling, man.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Yeah. Barterability. Yeah. Get your smoke on there with some, she said, some Marlboros. $50 a cigarette. Dude, get his priority straight. All right, man. So, yeah, phone lines open. Give me a call. Let's talk. What else is on your mind? What else happening around the world that we need to talk about? Okay, so, yeah, back to earlier. I'm going to get off my mind what I was saying earlier. So, somebody called in earlier, mentioned about having on Jim Willie again. So, definitely, I reach out to Jim, and I'm gonna put a cap on how long we can talk. I'm going to say, Jim, you got to give it all to us in 45 minutes, man. That last interview, 2 hours, that was longer than I anticipated going. But Jim, is a cool guy. And, of course, off the air, he's in funny air, man. What else? But, no, Jim Rogers as well. People mentioned about having Jim Rogers on. And so here's the thing. At this point of the game, everybody who's watching right now and who will watch the replay and whoever else your favorite commentators are or analysts or macro, micro, whatever, individuals, everybody out here kind of know where we're at. We're, I think as Doug Casey mentioned, we're in the 9th inning. We're coming out in a home stretch. We're a couple of innings, a couple plays away from not everything, but a good portion of everything being revealed. And so at this point, outside of just trying to find some little details here and there, I'm more so concerned with like strategies that people are utilizing to preserve, protect, as well as to utilize all this manipulation for their benefits. So, talking to Jim, all those guys is good, but yet Jim, we know Jim Willie, he'll give us insight based upon the voice and stuff like that. Jim Rogers say get gold. He got a lot of dollars that he's waiting to get out of when it's right time. And so having spoke to all those people before, it's like, I kind of know what they're going to say. That's why I'm like, I need some fresh blood. I need some new people out there that speak to that can give us some more strategies rather outside of what we already know. Because once you got your weight, you're comfortable with your weight, whatever that might be. You got your other assets you might be dipping and dabbling in. You got your mining stocks and stuff like that. Then on top of that, what else is out there? That's what I want to get to. So I'm always trying to keep my eyes open for people who can offer a little something different other than what I kind of anticipate or expect. All right, so a couple more questions out there. Says, well, Brandon says, where our excess of power prevails, property of no sort is duly respected. No man is safe in his opinions, his person, his faculties, or his possessions. James Madison. Yeah, where excess of powers prevail. Yeah, man, I do agree with that one from Mr. James Madison. Who's going to get your info? Where you peeps get your info? Yeah, okay. Spirit Dime says, hi, Mike. Spirit Dime here from Montreal. Love your show. Keep up the good work. Respect. God bless. Appreciate you, my friend. Good to hear from you. How are things in your neck of the woods? Okay, so here's something that I find to be interesting. I have to validate this, but I saw a little meme posted of somebody saying that in Canada right now, and let me know for any Canadians is watching about the current programs you guys have going on. Apparently, there's programs out there where they're getting $930 every 2 weeks. And all types of other things out there that's just part of the routine nowadays. So I'm curious to find out. Let me see. I got a call here, or had a call. Here we go. So I'm curious to find out more on what's happening in Canada because I'm not hearing much of anything about cases or nothing from Canada. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Shane Lackey from Georgia.
How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to call and say the economy is looking for means. What the economy has done over time has looked for means.
Means?
Like mean, MEAN, like
mean.
The base.
Yeah.
Yeah. The economy can go higher than mean, and it can go lower than mean. But what it's looking for in nature is the baseline. Mm-hmm. Like from the beginning of time, what it's done has looked for the central line and followed it. Mm-hmm. It seems to me.
All right. Hey, I don't doubt it, man. I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
long-time listener. You guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do, Mike.
Thank you, my man. Good to hear from you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a great night.
Revert to the mean. Everything reverts to the mean. So yeah. So and I think we refer to that as a correction to the mean. So that's why the the news articles today, more and more analysts, professionals, economists are saying that a correction is coming. Some people say 40%, some people say 50%, 60%, 70%. It's like, okay, just to say, it has to correct to the means, whatever that is, which is going to be a shock for everybody who's anticipating getting paid out in those promises. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, man, this is Rich from Texas, dude. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I want to ask you, what do you think about the top 5 in crypto?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that real estate will start to devalue once this, with the whole coming housing crisis because of our whole economic situation in the country?
Okay, so you say, so our first part was about top 5 crypto?
Yes.
Okay, the top 5 crypto, what I think about them, I think as of now, that's they've proven to be the most utilized because they have the highest market cap as far as Bitcoin, Ethereum. We got Tether, Litecoin, and what is that? The Bitcoin Cash, I think. And so they have risen to the top for now. But I think right now cryptos in general are in their the version 1.0 of what will be coming down the line. So for now, I think they're good to go. But 10 years from now, will we have the same form of these cryptos? I don't think so. But for now, they will absorb some of the liquidity that the Fed's putting out there. So I think they will rise until something else comes about or there's some quantum computing that disrupts them. But I think they're viable still. And then as far as the real estate is concerned, I think there's definitely there's a lot of overinflated housing prices scattered throughout the country, especially along the coastal regions, east and west. Midwest is still relatively cheaper. New York is about to be on fire sale in New York. If you want to go buy something in New York as things unfold, California is too damn expensive. I wonder why people stay there in the first place. So that being the case, I think it has to correct to the means. And of course, when that happens, it's just opportunity for those sitting in cash while it still has value to go and swoop in and do what you do, get your real estate up. If that's a line of work or profit and you're looking to be a part of. So yeah, housing prices are extremely overpriced. They definitely outpace what people earn.
Okay, last 2 questions. What do you think about the inflation of the monetary system, and what do you think that the credit crunch is going to come from this current crisis?
Inflation. So inflation, as far as from the monetary side of things, we still, I think, have some time. Apart from the obvious signs, there are certain pockets that are experiencing inflation before consumer goods, which is what I'm most concerned with. When water bill, lights, food, stuff like that skyrockets, that's going to be hyperinflationary territory because I think they're going to lose control of that 2% narrative they're trying to, say they can't find. And then what was the other part of that?
Well, like far as capitalization, like far as business capital and personal credit lines.
Credit
lines and things of that nature.
So the credits, I think that once the too big to fail banks have some issues, which I think is because of derivatives or because of some of these defaults, the credit line swaps and all those products they've created, they're starting to have problems now because as more people refuse to pay or are not able to pay back their debts, those are the bank's assets. So there's going to be some hiccups there. Banks go under, credit stops, all hell breaks loose, game over. So when the banks are clearly in distress, which is what the Federal Reserve is right now with all those lending facilities they've created, those are funneled through the banks to keep them liquid. So as all that stuff continues to unravel, then I think credit will no longer be available because once again, majority of the people are not really borrowing like that now. I read an article earlier today saying that right now a lot of people are trying to stay away from using their credit cards because of they're concerned with not being able to pay it back. So but then you have another portion that only uses credit. So yeah, when banks go under, there goes the credit line, credit game.
Well, I mean, like, far as the credit lines for doing businesses, as well as, people trying to get into that aspect, as say a millennial.
Yeah. So, okay. So
what's the timeline on that?
I wouldn't even begin to know, because you have different people out there that might be willing to lend and those that may not. So when it comes from the banking sector, unless you have some collateral or you're a big wig or you know who to go to, I don't really see your average Joe, whoever that person might be, able to secure a line of credit. Or a lot of people now are utilizing the DeFi, where you can go through the cryptocurrency for lending, because that's going to probably, weed out the banks eventually, to where if you're a crypto holder, you can take your cryptos and you can get a loan from those as collateral. But, the old banking model, unless you know where to go and who you can go to, I don't think you'll be in the boys and girls in the boys club to be able to secure nothing substantial, because they may not lend nothing to you unless you are part of that club and you want some millions of billions. And so that's just my opinion, man.
Okay.
But
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you calling, man. Thanks for the questions.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good questions there, man. I appreciate you for asking those questions. Once again, just my thoughts, man, and my opinions are based upon where we're at and where I think this is heading. What else we got here? It says the Great Depression was caused due to the Fed contracting the money supply. Who knows what they will do this time? And so based upon, Richard Werner, who's the author of The Prince of the Yen, based upon what happened with Bank of Japan and stuff like that, and what's happening with the ECB now, I imagine the goal of central banks in general is to wreck the economies directly by destroying the currencies while also accumulating all the so-called assets onto their balance sheet. Because as of right now, Federal Reserve is the biggest real estate owner, soon to be stock. They're the biggest corporate bond holder. So they about to own them to everything tangible, everything of value they're going to own. So that's, checkmate for them. They win. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jack from West Palm Beach.
Jack, how you doing, my man? What's on your mind?
Hey, it's hot down here. But anyway, I'm on the debt clock, and I'm looking at the Federal Reserve and USGS website, and at silver priced at $3,700, and that gold at priced at $31,000. What do you think about that? Is that possible?
Well, once again, anything's possible, but yet the way they calculate it is with the total, I think, M2 supply or M1 supply, M2 supply with the yearly gold and silver above ground is mined. So based upon those figures, that's what they come up with, which is something definitely it can be exciting. But yet, if we were to see those prices like nominally, like right now, just checkmate, game over. The world's coming to an end the way we've known it, because there'll be no Federal Reserve at that point. With $30,000 ounce of gold and 172, what's that? 3,738 per ounce in silver. So those are large numbers, but definitely something we could probably see in a hyperinflation. Those are hyperinflation type of prices, or the beginning phases of hyperinflation, probably.
Man, that means the loaf of bread will cost like $100.
Or more, or more. And so if an ounce of silver is 3,700 in a hyperinflation environment, this is probably that's probably the beginning number. So I would say a loaf of bread would probably be, because loaf of bread right now, say it's $18 an ounce, a loaf of bread maybe $2 right now. That's maybe 1/9 of that. So I would say loaf of bread might be $500, $600, using that type of figure, a roundup or something like that. So definitely a lot of people can't afford that. Wouldn't be able to afford that. So
yeah, Mike, if you have debt if you have mortgage debt, it doesn't matter, because that figure stays the same, and you'll be right. I think we in this developed world here, the U.S., we think that might be the case, but yet my personal opinion is that I don't think the banks will lose as far as them being willing to accept hyperinflated paper or digits. So I'd imagine they'll just redenominate or reassess what you owe in whatever central bank digital currency stabilizes at the moment they want their funds. So I think that they're still going to want their currency in whatever new form it is, they're not going to take a haircut. The banks will not take a haircut, put it like that. I don't think. So they're going to want some funds. They're not going to take hyperinflated paper like they did in Weimar or nothing like that. I don't think so anyway.
All right, Mike. God bless.
Hey,
Have
man.
a good
Appreciate
night.
you. Thanks. Same to you, boss. Yeah, I don't think the banks will be willing to take hyperinflated paper, but that's just my opinion. Matthew Nelson, it says the parking lots of a lot of these high-end grocery stores are looking pretty light these days. Really? Parking lots. Let me see. In my neck of the woods, let me see. Traffic seems to be normal. That's one of the things that always concern me, man, that ever since since we've been in this new world, the last 120 days, give or take, the box stores, your Walmarts, your Myers, whatever your major food stores are, they have not missed the beat. They've not skipped the beat. I'm sure their share prices have gone through the roof. They've been making more currency than they ever have because they have been labeled essential. And I haven't heard no governor, president, nobody mention the idea that the coronavirus could be being spread inside grocery stores. What they should shut them down too. They would never say nothing like that. So until I see box stores shut down. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, Mike, what's going on? It's Brando Commando.
Brando, how you doing, my man? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Well, I got two options for you. You want to talk about coronavirus, or should we talk about real estate?
Let's go. Just you can do both of them. Give me the rundown on both of them real quick.
All right. So my buddy texted me the other day, and he lives in Columbia, Maryland, which happens to be like the highest tax county of the East Coast.
Okay.
And he said like the bread box of a house across the street from him got into a bidding war on like the first day it was on the market.
Really?
He said it's small in his place. He said it's literally a bread box. It went for like $550. So he's like, holy crap, man! Maybe I should sell my house. So my neighbor, he's in like home remodeling, and he keeps an eye on the neighborhood. And there's a realtor out there, and one of the neighbors put their house in the market, kind of like undercover. Didn't even put a sign out front, and that bad boy went for $550 also.
Damn.
So, you know, I was walking around the neighborhood, like someone else mentioned. Then I go out in the morning, I listen to all of my crypto news while I'm walking around.
Yeah.
And I saw my other neighbor, same deal, man. She's skipping town too. She didn't even put her house on a sign on the front lawn, and that baby sold. I didn't ask her for what, but that thing sold. They had 3 bids the same first weekend. So
wow.
I did hear that housing prices went up in April because I feel like people are thinking about like physical assets to park their money.
Yeah.
Because they really can't trust it in the equity market, and they see like bonds aren't really safe.
Yeah.
That they're it's like, well, what can I do with my 401k retirement? And all of these like baby boomers are like, well, maybe I'll just buy a house.
Yeah.
So apparently housing prices went up in April. So now I'm thinking of my exit strategy because I'm in that kind of situation where I'm like, I need to skip town or at least invest in things that are more real. I mean, your show is all about things that are real versus things that aren't, So I'm thinking farmland is always the most real investment you can get. I mean, metals are cool, but it seems every now and then you're always skeptical about silver and it's like barterability or it's like it's retail sale ability.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm thinking maybe I'd rather just have like 10 acres.
Yeah. And so once again, like that, so just based upon last night, there's a website that I was actually scrolling on myugh called Land.
I looked at it.
Yeah. So I was on it. I was all around Michigan. So yeah. So definitely, man, that's something that it's definitely not too late because there's land out there. But yet, once again, it's still early now. But imagine people are gonna catch wind, and all the more affordable, cheaper things, depending on what you're looking for, might be gone to where whatever you want out there might be inflated. So, so yeah, man. So that's interesting.
We just kind of mentioned like just a couple minutes ago, a caller was talking about the credit crunch, and I do believe that when there's a credit crunch, like people might not be able to finance a whole lot, so people looking for like cash payments on stuff.
Yeah. So stuff will be on sale.
I could probably buy land with nothing on it. I mean, I can't buy a house outright, but I could probably buy like a big chunk of land for $35K or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've been pretty honest in the chat room. I haven't paid a bill since February.
Really?
So I haven't. Fuck them. If they're gonna give us like moratoriums, if they're gonna give us like these get out of jail free cards, I'll take every card I can get.
Yeah.
So right now I'm sitting on all the mortgage payments. I'm sitting on all the utility payments.
Mm-hmm.
I got like a pile of money sitting here, thinking, what should I do with it?
Yeah. Hey man, that's that.
I'm wondering. That song is in the back of my head. Take the money and run. Take the money and run. So I'm wondering, like, can I somehow like just abandon this house and just take the money and go buy some property?
I don't have nothing to say for that one, man. Like I'm gonna let that go, man. So I'm gonna let the audience, I'm gonna let the viewers chime in.
It's leveraged.
Yeah.
I don't own it.
Yeah.
I owe them a bucket on it. And if it's all gonna go up in smoke, maybe I should play like Cool Hand Luke and like talk to the bank in my serious voice and be like, yo, refinance this bitch. Refinance it. Yep, take principal off the top too while you're at it.
Hey, I'm gonna let you do you, man. I appreciate you for calling and sharing your thoughts, man. I'm gonna leave that alone. I appreciate you though.
All right, well maybe I'll call back tomorrow and I'll tell you guys everything I know about the coronavirus because I've been hot on the trail.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention I'm a pharmacist?
No, you did not. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I know all about the coronavirus, and it's a hoax and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sure, a virus. It's like an alligator,
mm-hmm.
but I don't really worry about alligators when I walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah. All right.
But
so save it for tomorrow, man. We get on that one.
All right, Mike. Love you guys.
Appreciate you, man. Be good. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Oh man. All right, man. So yeah, we're at the hour point, man. It's always good to be able to hear from you guys and hear all what's happening in your life and in your world and what's going on around you, man. I appreciate you, everybody, for chiming in. And let me get to Method Nelson says Stu Leonard and Whole Foods. So I'm assuming we're talking about we're talking about the box stores that have not closed or should be closing or whatever, if this was as serious as they wanted to make it out to be. All right. And what else we got? I know I missed another one. Let me grab this other one here. And so this one here is from Damon Threes. It says, there are lines in the streets every day on Jimmy Carter Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, for free testing. People aren't getting tested for no reason. People are not. People are not getting tested for no reason. So yeah, so that's one of the things where it's interesting, in my opinion, to see how we have people, unless you are having some type of symptoms, or I wouldn't say concerned. Okay, just say concerned. I personally don't really see the need to go get tested. That's just me personally knowing also that I believe that the part of the testing system is to have you in their database so that they can see more about who you are in regards to the whole contact tracing. So if you are positive, then they got you in the system as a part of their database. And, from that point on. So I personally, I would not have nothing to do with any of the medical stuff unless I felt I needed to, because I was feeling something or sensing something or whatever. Until that point, no, thank you. Michael Green, I appreciate you, my friend, for the love offer to the channel. Thank you. But yet everybody's different. So, as I mentioned before, the goal is to test you so they can track you, so they can tag you. And I don't want to participate. So I'm going to stay out of that as long as I can. And Lord willing, won't have to mess with it, period. We'll see. Broadlight Broker for the chain, my man. I appreciate you. All right, man. So that's all she wrote. About to get ready to dial back. We'll save the rest for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to try to get back for a little news update, check in with you guys afternoon-wise. Anybody available to join us in the midday, definitely do so. If not, hang out with us tomorrow night. Definitely would love to get your thoughts on whatever else is happening out there. And we'll talk. So other than that, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. Please.